How do you see the rotations in the front court playing out, at least in the short term?
Well, if we play conventional, our backup right now is Jeff Howard. So there'll be some conventional, there'll be some unconventional. So you learn a lot over your period of time at Indiana from 2008 on, and the one thing you learn is you don't sit there and worry a lot about what you don't have. You just try to figure out to do the best you can, and that's where we're at with positions and matchups and all that. So we'll just kind of let it roll and see where it goes.
Where is Jeff as a player at this point, I guess?
He's gotten better. I would like him to believe that he's gotten better the way that I think I do and some others think. And I still think that he is not quite bought into the fact that we'd like him to play. But he will. He'll be out there. And he does some really good things. He had a couple of plays, pick and roll wise, defensively, in the exhibition game that was really good. So he battles every day in here. And we'll just see where it goes. I mean, I'm not ready to call him a rotation guy or anything like that. I don't know what that is. I haven't coached. I couldn't believe that at the end of the day last Thursday, we'd had 11 guys play 11 or more minutes. I mean, that's like, I'd like to take credit for that being a genius move. It just kind of worked out that way. So I don't know what's going to happen with it. We're just going to go play.
Are you angry, frustrated, surprised that, again, NCAA takes, a couple of your players away?
Well, I think, again, since April 2nd, 2008, I don't think I'll ever get surprised again. But there's a high level of disappointment because I know what we do and I know how we've done it. But my greatest concerns, and that's why I've been out there with them, working on different things with Hunter and Peter while the team was watching film. My greatest concern is for them. It has been, and it will remain that way because they don't deserve this. And at the end of the day, that's really what should matter the most is the welfare of the student athlete, and they don't deserve it. And nobody deserves it, but they certainly don't deserve it.
Do you get an answer from the NCAA when you say, who are you really hurting here?
I don't have dialogue with the NCAA. That's not where my role doesn't go to that level.
This is kind of, in a similar way to the Gee situation a couple of years ago, this is kind of one of those cases where you were sort of hoping for common sense to kind of override letter of the law and sort of empathy, I guess, to override letter of the law, I guess. At a certain point, you maybe want to, after having gone through a couple of these, you maybe find yourself wanting to get more involved in sort of the legislative process in terms of lobbying and say, hey, some of these rules don't make sense.
No, because I don't think there's any. I don't think coaches have anything to do with it. I think coaches get some lip service paid to them, and there's probably a couple that can change things over a period of time, but it's few and far between, and it pretty much begins and ends with what Mike has been able to do at Duke, and he deserves it. I mean, he deserves that ability to do that. But no, I don't think that would have anything to do with it. I really don't. I mean, I'm in this business. I watch it close, and I think decisions are made and legislative processes are put out. And I think it's nice and easy, and it's fun to say that coaches have a say in it, but I'm not sure they really do.
Well, let's say you don't have a vote, but I mean, you can make noise in some ways. You can have the NABC.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way. And again, my focus is, I got a lot of private thoughts on this, but I mean, I'm not really where I want to be at with it, where it's out public like that. I mean, again, I'm too close to home on this with these two guys, and that's what the biggest concern is. That we've got two young men out there that really have no idea why, nor do they deserve it. And I'd like somebody to tell me why they deserve it. But other than that, I'm just going to keep coaching them, working with them, and focus on this team and leave the legislative process to others.
How are they with this?
They're great kids. They're great kids. And unfortunately, that probably masks what they really think inside. And I will say what I said the other night on the Jeff Goodman and Bruce Pearl show is it's not like this just came about. I mean, they've answered every question. They've dealt with every situation. they've been involved in every hypothetical, and they've been great. They have been great. I mean, they have been brought into more question and answer type situations than really they should have had to be in. But again, they handled it. That they're consistent. That they are who they are, and I just wish it would be viewed that way.
How does the appeals process work?
You got to ask somebody else on that. I don't know about that, Jeff.
Back to the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not involved in it.
Tom,
Somebody's, go ahead.
did you want to say something else?
No, that's somebody's thing clipped here.
Okay. From Jeremy Hollowell's standpoint, where is he at this point? What do you need from him? And then, is he going to help with the front court rotation?
Well, he's going to help. He's going to help irregardless. I mean, he's going to be good. He's getting better all the time. I mean, he's made progress in the last couple of things that we've done, and he's dealing with a little under the weather situation the last couple of days, and he's come out and battled in that. So he is making improvement. He's gaining confidence. There's no question that when we signed him, he has to change his on-court personality and become a more vocal, emotion-filled. I mean, there's got to be more of that. But he's a very hard worker with a lot of upside. He's been well coached and can do a lot of different things. And when he just lets it come out naturally on the floor, he's pretty good with it. But this is a really important time for him, starting with tomorrow night and throughout this entire non-conference season, to really gain that confidence that he needs, because he's got the credibility now as a hard worker in practice. He's got the credibility of a guy that they respect to go to battle with on the court. Now he's got to bring that into against the opponent.
How have you seen the freshman improve since practice 1 to where you guys are now?
Considerably. I would say considerably. Yogi Ferrell is continues to get better and rarely looks like a freshman. And that's not just my view. That's other people that come in that have an educated view of this, of seeing basketball and seeing other teams, and they see it that way. We can do a lot of things with them. We haven't even really started to tap into the playbook yet. It'll sound trite, but it's true. I mean, there's no question as a coach, I feel we're behind offensively. But I mean, that'll come. That'll come in time. But I mean, he can do a lot of different things with the ball. But he has been outstanding in practice defensively and playing with edge and using his vision. And I think the fact that he's added strength has really helped him. And I think the fact that, I mean, there's rarely a day that he's not out there with the 365-day club, which is really what some of those guys are. When you start looking at Jordan and Will and Victor, and he's joining that group, and sometimes they're the 365-day, two-a-days type guys, and he's advancing. So it's fun to watch him.
What do you think when Christian comes to you and says he wants to wear 32 tomorrow night?
When I thought about it, I thought it was an incredibly noble gesture. I really did. And he was dead serious about it. I wasn't sure he was serious about it at the beginning, but this was over the weekend. And first I had to make sure it was legal. And again, we're gonna make sure we look at that. But I mean, it is, and I think it's pretty special. I think it goes to show how close these guys are in ways that we wouldn't even imagine. So I wouldn't have thought of that, and I think that's great.
Coach, what do you feel? What have you been voicing to the team is the most important thing to focus on in this game on Friday?
I don't think it's that. I think there's no one thing. There's no one thing at all, and there never will be. It's if you got to put something at the top of the umbrella, it's constant improvement. So that's where it's at. But there's so many different things that go into it, and it would be too simple than to just say, hey, let's go out and play hard. Let's go out and compete. There's a lot of things that go into it. We want to keep advancing constantly. So in answer to your question, I would just say that we have to keep improving on a daily basis, and the games are no different.
What impresses you about Bryant? Just what did they do, I guess, that's...
Well, we let it off with how well they run. They're really good in transition. Francis is excellent. He averaged 17 and 8. I think it was. He's a matchup problem. He's quick. He gets to the basket. They've added some players to go with the guys like Dobbs that they had from before. So they've gotten better and better. I mean, Tim O'Shea is a very good coach. He's coached at a very high level in was the Big East with Boston College and at Ohio U. So they're making strides. And, but I think they want to get out and play. And they've got a couple guys that can really create offense. So that's what we've got to be focused on. Our transition D's got to be excellent. Our half-court D's got to be excellent. And we got to get out and really, really run the floor.
Coach Maurice says he feels like he's a coach now, and he said that was part of the way you kept him into the program when he could have maybe got lost. Can you talk a little bit about how you try to keep your players that are rehabbing into the program by maybe doing the coaching thing?
Well, I think everybody's got responsibilities. Everybody's got a role, and it's always been like that. That goes back to the days at Marquette when Dwayne Wade was our first sit-out, and he had responsibilities in a game, and sometimes would have responsibilities at halftime, and you just learn. I mean, you learn that sometimes by trial and error, but you got to keep everybody engaged, and that's part of having a family atmosphere. That's part of building a mutual respect, but it's most important. Everybody has got to feel like they have a valuable role. And even when it's not a visible role, even when it's not the most crucial role, even when it's not the highlight reel role, I mean, it's a role. And that's what we're always trying to build. And if Maurice feels like that, that's really good. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to be holding him to that with decision-making and talking on the defensive end. So I like that, though. I like that. He's been through an awful lot. So he could write a book on adversity. There's no doubt about that.
Anything else? You mentioned that there are sort of conventional and unconventional solutions to the players being out in the front court. Does this opportunity against Bryant, where they maybe don't have a lot of size, help with experimenting with those unconventional solutions?
No, we're not experimenting. There's no. I played a lot of different lineups in the exhibition game, but there's no experimenting. I mean, we're trying to win. We're trying to win big. I mean, we're not going out there to feel our way through situations. Now, feeling your way through the game on who plays, absolutely. But this game is no different. And a coach is not worth his salt. I mean, there's games that are bigger than others because of the name and because of the time of the year. But there's no game that's bigger than another for a coach, because they all count the same. And you got to get your team convinced of that. And we're going out there to play well, and we're going out there to play hard, and we're going out there to play the entire 40 minutes. And that's how it's going to be coached. So with that being said, you just keep moving with what the game gives you, and you keep trying to dictate as much of the game as you can.
Thank you, Coach.
Anybody else? Okay.
Thanks, Tom.